During the hearings, many of us have been watching. We have the nominee to the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, and she was being questioned by Senator Kamala Harris, who's obviously also on the ticket, the VP on the Democrat side. And there was a little bit of an exchange between them. I wanted to ask Matt, the wonderful producer, to play and make a couple comments on. So here is what Senator Kamala Harris had to say to Amy Coney Barrett.
Do you accept that COVID-19 is infectious?
I think, yes, I do accept that COVID-19 is infectious. That's something of which I feel like, we could say you take judicial notice of. It's an obvious fact, yes.
Do you accept that smoking causes cancer?
I'm not sure exactly where you're going with this, but, the notice that smoking
causes... The question is what it is. You can answer it if you believe yes or no.
Senator Harris, yes, every package of cigarettes warns that smoking causes cancer.
And do you believe that climate change is happening and is threatening the air we breathe and the water we drink?
Senator, again, I was wondering where you were going with that. You have asked me a series of questions that are completely uncontroversial, like whether COVID-19 is infectious, whether smoking causes cancer, and then trying to analogize that to eliciting an opinion on me that is a very contentious matter, opinion from me that is on a very contentious matter of public debate, and I will not do that. I will not express a view on a matter of public policy, especially one that is politically controversial, because that's inconsistent with the judicial role, as I have explained.
Thank you, Judge Barrett, and you've made your point clear that you believe it's a debatable point.
And the reason I want to play that little clip, that exchange between Senator Kamala Harris, she who will be vice president, and the next Supreme Court justice, who will probably be confirmed on Friday, Amy Coney Barrett, is because part of the argument in the American political conversation over and over and over is the notion that climate science is settled. Meaning there are no disputes, there are no unknown facts, there is nothing about climate science, say leftists, that is unsettled. And so therefore, everyone who even indulges in questioning climate science, and it was the same thing on COVID-19, I'll mention in just a moment, but anyone who questions climate science, and not just the science they claim is settled, but then the agenda items, the policy items that flow from that conclusion, you're not allowed to dispute, you're not allowed to question. You simply must salute and agree with the left that because climate science is settled, any and everything they want to do in response to this settled science is simply indisputable, and you are treated with ridicule, derision by leftists if you dare to do that. Well, today we have joining us on our show someone I think is just going to be a really interesting guest. He is the author of a book. He's coming out in just a moment, but he's an author of a book, again, called Apocalypse Never, How Environmental Alarmism Hurts Us All. His name is Michael Schellenberger. And before I wrap up the first five, I want to say this. The same phenomenon is occurring with respect to COVID-19, the coronavirus. Many of you know the name Dr. Simone Gold. She founded Frontline Doctor. She has been to Washington several times, trying to wake America up to the notion that there is not a settled conclusion with respect to coronavirus on subjects like how deathly is it, how much of our public policy should be driven off of the conclusions that have been reached, whether we are making good and right decisions as a country on our public policy, on forcibly shutting down schools and businesses and mandating masks in some places, mandating social distancing. Are we getting the truth or not about the kinds of treatments available that we have? If you watch the show very often, we've had numerous doctors on the show explaining the marvelous success they have experienced in treating COVID-19 patients with hydroxychloroquine, with inhaled budesonide, other treatments that are working. So Dr. Simone Gold will join us tomorrow live in studio on this show to talk about those issues. But I raise them in this first five as I'm wrapping up to say, there is nothing like the volley of from the left claiming the science is settled, the facts are settled, no one's allowed to talk about it anymore, that ought to make the average American say, I actually want to learn the facts myself. I want to read myself. I want to understand the facts myself. I don't have to salute to the alleged experts on settled climate change, settled COVID policy, or anything else. Here in America, we're actually allowed to think for ourselves.